Today, we are going to talk about filler words. I know this is crazy, but filler words are one of my favorite topics to talk about. There's a few reasons why I love to talk about filler words. Reason number one is that a lot of people think that filler words are a drastic crime against public speaking. This has a lot to do with our modern communication training, where we want to have everything perfectly polished. The reason why we think that we have to have everything perfectly polished is because, sometimes we'll watch YouTube videos and the speaker will be so articulate and so perfect and they won't have even a single mistake, not a single slip up or an And you start to wonder, how can I be that perfect? And then you realize, oh, people are perfect speakers because they have great video editors to edit out all of the ums and ahs and edits and bloopers and all of the things. Look, perfection is a lose-lose game. It's an illusion. It doesn't occur. It doesn't exist. Even as I am recording this video, I'm very conscious about what gets to be edited out and what gets to be... See? Look at that. We're actually going to keep that. We're going to keep that. We're not going to edit that out. That little slip up had me stopping mid-thought. And that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. But even as I record, I'm thinking about what needs to be edited so that it is not a distraction to you. However, when we're speaking in front of a live studio audience, we can't edit the flow of our speech. And so we think that one little slip up, one little one little mistake is going to completely distract the audience from what we're saying. And that's just not true. So let's get clear on some elements of filler words. Number one, filler words are a sign of great intelligence. What? Did he just say that filler words are a sign of great intelligence? I know, it's counterproductive, counterintuitive to what we think about public speakers. We think that if someone is stumbling over their words, that they're not very bright, There's so much information up here that sometimes the brain moves so fast that it can't keep up with the mouth. We are formulating thoughts, and in those thoughts we're encoding and decoding all of the communication messages, and sometimes there's a logjam here, which creates filler words. In other words, you have a lot to say, and you don't always have the pathways or the time to be able to say it. Second element that you need to understand about filler words is that filler words only become distracting if they become a pattern. So if I'm speaking naturally and I accidentally do an in the middle of the sentence, you can barely notice it. Especially if I'm a charismatic, prepared, and engaged speaker, one little one little one little isn't gonna make or break your presentation. It's when filler words become patterned that they become a jolting sound to interrupt the thought that you are trying to say. Whew! Man, that was painful to say. I'm sure it was painful to watch. When your filler words are becoming patterned, that's when you have to be really, really aware. The last thing I want to say about filler words before I give you my formula to reducing filler words is this. A lot of times we will use filler words because we fear silence. We think that if we pause for too long, someone will literally or figuratively take the mic away from us. So if I'm giving a presentation and I naturally pause at the end of a sentence like this one, and then continue my sentence, we think that that pause is going to signify to our audience that we're done, that we're complete with our thought. And I'll tell you that a short, brief pause like that, while it may feel long in our heads, isn't enough for the audience to think that way. So let's get to some strategies on how to reduce filler words. And keep in mind, I say the word reduce. Filler words are like whack-a-mole. You're gonna hit one, you're gonna eliminate one, and guess what? Another one is gonna pop up. My filler words aren't necessarily and although I have them occasionally. My filler words are and, and but. And as I continue to eliminate those filler words, more and more will continue to pop up. So here's how you reduce those filler words. It's 3 B's. Number 1, be aware. That's it. Simply being aware about how and when you use filler words is enough for you to train yourself how and when you're using filler words. So often we use filler words without even knowing it. And so having that awareness, having that target, that whack-a-mole pop up is really, really significant to the next step. The next step, or the next B, is be silent. Instead of a filler word, simply replace it with a pause. Instead of a filler word, simply replace it with a pause. Now, was that sentence a little bit choppy? Slightly, but without those filler words, it flowed much more naturally than with those filler words. And use your punctuation to your advantage. At the end of sentences, pause. And the final B is be graceful. Give yourself grace. Again, there's no such thing as a perfect speaker. There's no such thing as a perfect speech. When, not if, when filler words occur in your presentation, forgive yourself, and forgive yourself quickly, knowing that that one filler word or those 2 filler words aren't enough to distract your audience from your very powerful message. Now, if this strategy is interesting to you, make sure that you hit subscribe and stay up to date on all content related to confidence, communication, and storytelling. And as always, don't forget to get yourself off of mute and speak up your story. Until next time, we'll see you soon.